Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. Sensei Al Bob. I am your Sensei Al Bob. Your griot. Tell your story. To light day, to entertain. And I don't have a belief. And I shouldn't say or I should say, don't believe a word I say. Don't believe a word anyone says. You are the decider. Ay, Get my cup of coffee. What a beautiful day it is out there. Look at that. We live on heaven on earth. We should appreciate what we have. In every day and every way, take the piece of yours and make it stronger. Bring into your hearts love's co-creation. Do your best in everything you do, and your life will get better and better. And don't worry about being perfect. Our blinders of belief are right there to restrict. Hey there, Jane. Top of the morning. Jane, what do you think about what's going on? When you put it into historical context, realize it's the same as it ever was. And it's an excellent portrayal of how desperate power structure is. And also, that little thing about follow the money, it's pretty obvious that this is a soap opera that has had a long script. And everyone's involved, every country, because there is no nation states. We live in a corporate oligarchy. To put it mildly, that's right. So it is our responsibility to wake up, to be aware, and to, when you put love in your heart and in your mind, it's a barrier that keeps all of the anxiety and because it's so easy to be duplicitous. It's so easy to be just, so conspiratorial, to be part of it. Friday was a good example for me. Things, my bank, you know, froze up and freaked out, and no one could, it was like unfreaking believable. And I went to, luckily I knew the bank manager pretty well, and there she was, and I went in because no one who worked behind the cage or at the tables, no one could deal with anything. Their little boxes wouldn't work, you know, and other things were falling apart right in front of me. I was going, this is interesting. It was almost like a B test, Let's see what the mice do now, what the ant form does. So, no one on 9/11, no one thought up to even look at. I mean, it was a crime scene, but immediately we had an enemy, you know. And we live in a neocon, neoliberal, two wings of the same corporate oligarchy bird, you know. And this has been this way. I mean, just go study the school of George Carlin. You aren't part, we live in this pyramid, and these guys at the top, they just, all those different levels of structure are kept in line, and, we're shitting on your head, and if you obey us, you can shit on the people's heads below you. When I was in the seminary, I was all Jesus as a little boy. I love Jesus. I still do. But Vatican's Jesus isn't Jesus. So we have to open our hearts in every day and every way, all the time. Every time your little heart closes, that's when anxiety and fear occurs. And we can do the most terrible things. You know, thinking, oh, if we just kill all these people, things will be better. Sorry. Oh, if we just take all these people we don't like, these basket of deplorable, just make them slaves until they're dead. No, that was the Nazi death camps. That was Pol Pot. You know, that was Jim Crow, and all of those minimum, maximum, prison planet motifs hurt the body politic as much as the individual. So these morons who, the global onies, the Billy Foreskins and Anthony Schmegsmisses and the Elon, going bald. You know, it's like if you can't be, happy with who you are, and you have to make other people miserable just so you can have a little Freudenschade, you know, it's not going to work. So, and to try and think that, oh, I have to become A-lister, the biggest man, the most famous, I'll have a platform, I can fix it. No, it's in our own life that we have to fix things, right? It's in our everyday, in our every way. And when we do that, each moment, when we live in the moment, when we live in the flow, when we live with the ease of love's co-creation, that's when we have heaven on earth, you know. And there were people in the Nazi death camps who did that because that's all they could do, or everyone was suffering. Even the guards, even the nun who murdered me in first grade, she was a Nazi death camp guard. She was known as the milkmaid of pain. She tortured men so vigorously that they lactated. Right? So I think waterboarding is bad. But it's this whole motif of men having babies. The men can be pregnant. Like it's like, come on. This is the world's. This is a large, handkerchief. I'm just, I'm like Ishmael. You should read that book, Ishmael, and the story of B. Those are two very, I am that gorilla, you know. And so, what can I say? I'm about heading out until I won't see you as much as you've seen me so far. The next few weeks for me is going to be reacclimation into the woods. And then, it's on the edge of spring, but it's also still winter. So I'm going out into the woods where there's no heat, no anything. But, the last 3 winters away from here, I was out in the woods. It's not a big deal. I mean, this is on the other side, End of December, January, February, March. It'll be more rainy, floody, and I'm on top of a mountain, so everybody below me is going to get, flooded. It'll be a little wet, but it'll be what it is. But you'll still see me, but you won't see me as much. So it's now up to you, guys. It's up to you to change your world. Be the world you want to see, right? Be that world of love's co-creation. Be that love and that unconditional forgiveness, right? Put that in your heart. Let it be that, right? And go from there, right? That's where it is. That's the truth. You know, all these, you know, ridiculous, you know, Ron Peel political, um, spiritual, not even religious. Spiritual is a whole different thing, right? Religion is a business plan. Well, just for 1995, you can be saved. Buy this prayer cloth. Come on, guys. Join this mega church, and you'll have abundance. Oh, good luck with that. Not to say that churches aren't good. Churches are. Uh, I'm just waking up here. So stretch your mind, stretch your body, stretch your lungs. Breathe deep. Let the prana in. Connect to your chi. See it strumming. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome aboard to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. You want to get a hold of me? Get a hold of me at the Dude Awake 42 at Dreamland. Oops, Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. Right? And want to throw something in my PayPal? It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Ooh, it's my birthday. And life is what you make it. Right? And I'm pretty good at keeping things in the flow for about 80% of the moment. About 20%, I am my cheeky monkey moron self, right? The most powerful character in the arcane is a fool, right? And that's me. And so I do my best. And that's all I can do is my best, right? And I'm not perfect, so I'm at 20%. But even when I'm being a cheeky monkey moron, I'm aware of it, and I try to keep myself out of harm's way. But sometimes I just, when this guy was screaming at me, shut up, don't speak. I said, okay, I won't speak. Don't speak. Okay, I won't speak. Don't speak. Okay, I won't speak. Don't speak. I did that 15 times until the guy was tearing his hair out. It's like I sometimes just can't help myself. just can't help myself. What can I say? Hey, Jamie. Well, experience, not endure. Experience and embrace, right? When you embrace the understanding that's an illusion, you can navigate and not manipulate, but manifest exactly what you want. When you do your best, you can get things done in a way that it makes you happy. I mean, people going, I don't want to do that job. I hate that job. I hate my life. I want to die. I mean, you want to do that for the rest of your life because you ain't going anywhere. I mean, I've died 7 times. I pretty much learned that I'm not going anywhere until it's time for me to go. I'm here to do something. We're all here to do something, so get down to it. Get down to it. Get down to it. Blah, 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 blah. First Amendment. You have the right to speak. Right. don't say anything. Okay, I won't say anything. Don't say anything. I worked for Ralph Nader in the 70s in a thing called NYPIRG, New York Public Interest Research Group. And that's when I was, the anti-nuclear guy, the water purity guy, the environmental guy, the social rights guy, the economic rights guy. And, he was one of the first people who said, Al, you're just a cheeky monkey. And he lots of people in his position who I work for would say, you just know you're, like, I gave this speech at the UN, right? It made me, because I was part of this, helped start this NGO thing. This is when our first knocked it out of the ballpark when we, you know, got clean drinking water to the third world by just recycling soda bottles, and then the company that made the soda bottles put something in the soda bottle to keep the UV out of the water, so it stopped working. But for about 5 years, it saved millions of lives, especially infants and young children. And so I had, for about an 18-month period, our little crew was the Golden Boys and Girls, and we were having fun. People come up to see what we were doing. We had this like clubhouse in the UN on the 30-something floor, and in a closet, gigantic closet, like 200 feet wide and about 40 feet deep, and really sunny on either side. Rest, no windows, but on either side, lots of light. So I gave this one speech, and we had this conference about, I was trying to start a thing called the Institute for Aesthetically Adept and Appropriate Technology. Right? And the adept part is love's co-creation, right? That's my buzzword for that is adept, right? And that's a student in the mystery school, the adept, right? That was Mickey Mouse, working for the Sorcerer's Apprentice. He was the adept, and that's where the word apprentice comes from. So, but the adept is a little more special than just an apprentice, And so I was supposed to give the speech about the dynamic of technology and economics and politics, right? And I'm there standing up in front of 600 movers and they're all in suits and finery. And I'm just wearing about what I'm wearing now, and that was my uniform, pair of jeans, kicks, t-shirt, maybe a sweater or a jacket, hat, and glasses. That's about it. And I got up there, and I had to have my little, I was a keynote speaker. I had to have my little speech, approved by the crew, the people who were sitting behind me. Clarence, big wig, and he was, one of the big wigs of a number of esoteric mystery schools, right? And I was, part of them, right? I was in there, again, they're adept on the front edge, right? So I'm like looking at them all, and everyone's like looking at me like I'm going to say something, approved. And I have the speech in my hand, and I look at the speech, and I just kind of throw it up in the air, right? And 8 or so pages kind of fall through the air down in front of the stage. And I give this whole spiel about love and about love's co-creation, and that's the only thing that matters, and that everything's a scam, and that this UN, I give them the history about who paid for it, who runs it, who owns it, that they're all just they're not movers and shakers, they're just little peons in a pyramid scam, and that whatever technology, nuclear weapons, blah blah blah, it's nothing compared to the scalar weapons that are in space, ready to obliterate anything with a blink of an eye. Where nuclear war, you'd have a good 25 minutes to worry about it. And it would be a really bad day if you lived in a big city, but you would die slowly out in the suburbs, So, I gave that speech and about how they could just turn everything off and everyone, would realize what slaves they were and da 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 da. And everyone was like, and when I finished my speech, I turned around and my seat on the dais was gone. They had taken it away, right? And Clarence came over and put his arm around me and goes, this boy knows his civil rights. He's the honest guy. That's why we have him around, But if there were more than just him, we'd have to kill him. He just laughed. He goes, go sit down there. And they had taken a ribbon and cordoned off a whole section of the seats. And I thought it was for important people. No, it was like the peanut gallery. And he said, go sit down over there. And like, there was no, it was like I was going to infect people. The whole row behind me was gone. I mean, not gone, but there was no one sitting in it. And, 10 seats on either side of where they wanted me to sit. There was 2 guys in black suits by the seat. I went down there and sat there. And This whole thing started off with a breakfast, kind of, conciliatory kind of breakfast early on, and I was at the head table, sitting with all the grown-ups, the star boy, right? And when we had lunch, I was over in a folding chair with a TV dinner table, right? And instead of getting the nice meal, I got the TV dinner, right? And I was just like, that's how quick. They didn't get rid of me. And that's when George Christie came over and said, "Boy, that was a great speech. I haven't heard anyone talk like that since Samuel Clemens or Nikola Tesla or Will Rogers." That's how he put me in that category. Samuel Clemens, Nikola Tesla, Will Rogers, right? And he goes, you are quite a special kid. And he was like, 70 years old, $3,000 suit, every hair in place. George Christie, the guy who gave us satellite telecommunications. He started in Intelsat, right? He was part of, the Rad Lab. And Rad Lab was, not just for radiation, but radical understanding of the universe. That's what the Rad Lab was about. It's about, quantum computing. And that was like in the, 1930s, You're never obligated to speak. I love the code of silence. Yep. But if you write prolifically, yep, exactly. So anyway, I'm going back to the deep green. I'm going to enjoy spring and early summer. Anyone who wants to come and visit and have some money that we can, navigate. This is a time to take a nice, interesting cruise across America. Well, and then up into Canada and see what we can percolate, right? And in the 50s, this is like the 50s of the 21st century, right? And or the 1870s or 80s, 1880s of the 21st century. So, it behooves us to have some good times, to be remembered. It's like the kids who had the school bus called Forward, the Dharma bums, that's us. Go read Ken Kesey and Allen Ginsberg and the guys and gals who were part of that movement. Ontario. Is that where we were born? Ontario? Ontario. I know, and the truck drivers, the police said it. I loved when the police chief from Ontario came out. These are the most polite. I've been in this city for 30 years, and we've had a lot of riots and marches, and these guys were the best, right? And yet they declared martial law against them and froze their bank accounts, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it pretty much shows you that that's the plan for everybody, And but again, that's very important, I'm out, as soon as the dandelions come up, that's what I'm going to be eating. Now, I've been doing pretty good with my diet, my blood sugar, and my blood pressure, and I haven't really had the money to buy any of those drugs. So I really haven't taken any of them since, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And let's see what my blood sugar is right now. Here's my little kid. You don't have to do it 3 times a day. I do it about 4 or 5 times a week. So here's the blood strip. Here's a little reader. You stick it in there. It beeps. Means it's ready. And then you hit your finger there. Get a little blood. No big deal. Error. Try it again. Placed with alien blood here. Try this again. Maybe it doesn't like to be watched. There we go. 130. A tad high. Oh. I got to do isopropyl alcohol, 100%. Nice little spray bottle. Anyway. Can't be putting up with that. What was this dragon saying? Apologies, Jimmy, for soul matrix lady. She's driving me crazy. I blocked her. Didn't have to. Dragon, she's just a little warped. Yep. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but exactly, and I'm not a big fan of blocking. When we started this out, pretty much. First of all, I had no idea how to block people. Until I blocked every. I didn't. I gave the guy the keys to the castle. That was kind of bizarre, but live and learn. And I got to the point where I realized that it's not that big a deal about anything. Like I said, I've died 7 times already. I know what's, so you did, And the last 3 times, I was like truly aware, I had the experience of the soul review, which is always interesting. Greetings. Yep. Esoteric alchemist. Yes, I like you, buddy. Yes, I'm polite about it. I was just being sent a message and didn't want to keep Deceiving them. Yep. Exactly. See, I have no idea about any of that. See, unless you put it in large, big block letters, I can't even read this thing. I have to really I don't understand any of this technology, really. And so I just wanted to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. I am your sensei. This isn't, a show for snowflakes or people with belief structures that can be rattled easily. This is, and don't believe a word I say, this is all about entertaining. It's Hollywood. Is he crazy? Hollywood. You know why they call it Hollywood? Because all magic wands are made out of holly. Wood. Anyway. Yeah, I love you guys. All of you. All three of you. And anybody else who's watching. So like I said, spring is, we're just on the edge of spring, and enjoy every day, no matter what it is. Like, some like blood sugar is at 90, which is like the perfect score, it's at 130. So it's, 40 points up, but at least it's not 280, or 500, it's all about, and people look at me, you're not sick, you're doing fine. Well, you were in my creaky barley, you would know that there were, like right now, everything is screaming in pain. But pain is kind of good because it kind of keeps you aware of what's going on, right? Because I have this neuropathy thing. And either I don't feel anything in my body or it's screaming in pain. There's really nothing in between. And, right now, everything's tingly. All my joints are killing me. And it's pretty much in the morning. I wake up. And so I've done a little meditation, but I didn't do my serious, right? And then I haven't done my katas, and I haven't done my, look at that. A message is coming in. Well, I see, Orc, what was Mork? Mork's boss was Larry. Larry, I hear you. I hear you, Larry. This little ear here. When certain frequencies are around, it kind of beams in and I can hear them. It's not voices or anything. It's just, my rearranged neural net. Thank you, Sister Holy Roller Skate, So again, anybody wants to get a hold of me, I got your message, Esoteric, and thank you very much for getting a hold of me at the dudeawake42 at Gmail, and everyone else who I've gone through my emails, and not for the last, few weeks, which I'll have to do, and I probably will before I'm out of here. I'll take an hour or so and look at everything, but I try to respond and send you love. Who's a Jabberwocky? It's the only Jabberwocky I know is me. To myself, right? So if you're aware, and I'm aware of it, so I kind of, 8% of the time, got somewhat under control, not control, but in the flow, right? So, yes, I love you too, Dragon. You're all the best. You're all special to me, every one of you. I don't view you as a glob, as a crew, as a group. No, you're all individuals, and I love you all. And again, get a hold of me at the dudeawake42 at Gmail, dudeawake42 at Gmail. And I want to thank all the folks who have thrown things into my PayPal money, cash. And, little bits is, whatever you can spend. There are 4 of you religiously send me around $20 a month, and that always gets me just right by, Ugh, family. Yep. Well, that's the beauty of Dreamy Dreamland. I mean, we are an amazing, diverse crew of people everywhere, and the commonality is our love's co-creation. So that shows that there are folks all around the world that have this understanding of flow and love, right? And if they were all like in Cincinnati or just please. But what time is it? Okay, I'm gonna move on and take my shower and do my tai chi and loosen up my body so it doesn't hurt so much. But at first I just wanted to first thing off because I'm heading, in a day or two or three or four, I'm heading towards the deep green, and I'll be there. And yes, I'll be able to, do a show, but not on a regular basis. It'll probably, I'll be able to get someplace, sometime between 11 a.m. and 1 in the afternoon. It's kind of be the window, Eastern Standard Time. So whatever that is, that for most of you in Europe and other time zones, that'll be a convenient time. Even just one close up would be great. I'm going a bit star crazy up here. Yes, stir crazy. I can relate to the stir crazy. Being stuck in a school with John Boy for a whole month when we had the ice apocalypse. But it wasn't that bad. 98% was fine. 2% was all. But otherwise, it was okay. And John, who he is down in his who he is a kind, sweet, innocent, gentle person. The other part is, a demonic, tortured soul, and I try my best to, no, I don't try. I do my best to alleviate that, but I can't, we all have to take care of our own demons, I got them. I take care of them. I talk to them. I work them out. I don't, let them run me because, the demon actually in you, there is a utilization of it. Like, so I studied with Herbert Berghoff and Uda Hagen in their theater school, right, on 10th Street and Bank in the West Village. I was their technical director at 17 to about 26. And then I, moved on from that scene, from the avant-garde, and I met my sweetie on the subway, and we started our photo studio, and we traveled the world taking pictures, and that was that part of my life. Right? And anyway, I studied with those guys, and they were all about taking that inner part of you and using it as the blowtorch or the furnace to really. And so, and because of what Sister Holy Roller Skate did to my voice box, I was, taught how to speak again at about, age 8 and 9, and and how to hear again, and I was like deaf, and I couldn't speak, and because my windpipe was crushed, and it was like rearranged, and it still is kind of rearranged, and my jaw was broken, and it still is kind of. At least I put it back together, but this eye sees in other frequencies, this ear hears in other frequencies, and this jaw speaks it. Anyway, so Herbert really, so my audiologist and my speech therapist, both Francis Marinol, saints, they were great scientists and scholars of these disciplines. And so they really helped me be able to hear and see and speak. And they said, so yeah, you're not like the average guy. Well, that's good. These are gifts. You shouldn't see them as handicaps. They're gifts. Yes, we just kind of retrain you so you can use these things as gifts. So when I learned from Herbert and Uda Hagen, how to act, and they really said, well, you're ahead of the game because the way you speak, the way you think, how you parse every word you say, because that's the only way you can speak without stuttering and being, unintelligible. That's good. And all you have to do is plug in the character you want to be, and use that, mechanism that you've developed, and so I did, and bingo, I'm an actor, right? So I can project certain things, and so there is that energy of the anger and the fear and all of those things that is demonic, egocentric, and I can take it and package it and use it, sculpt it, and I call it my outside voice, right? There's my inside voice, is where who I am, and there's my outside voice, where I really project. I didn't use any more energy to speak those words as I'm doing right now, but I used that energy of the blowtorch to project it, right? And so you speak that way. And if you study the Nuremberg rallies that Adolf, gave, that's what he did. He projected that energy out into the public. And they theatrically had it set up to really maximize all of that. But if you, read his speech, he was saying gobbledygook. It made no sense. Worse than our politicians today. So, and it was just again, a shamanic ceremony of the Nuremberg rallies, right? And that's why they had the Nuremberg rallies in that same place. They had that energy, karmic inner links, from life to life. Draw kindred souls together. Yep, exactly. Hey there, fish. Bug wings, yep. Go study carpenter bees and other like big, not hornets, but flying beetles. Their bodies are like a zillion times heavier than their wings should lift them up. But their whole carcass is made of these very interesting little geometric shapes that make them levitate. That they have all this mass, and you put them on a scale, they have weight, but when they're flying, they have no weight whatsoever. It's quite interesting, and a good deal of flying saucers use that kind of technology, that understanding. Yeah. I wouldn't put a number. And, when you put a number on anything, it's like relative. But they're there, and you have to understand that they're there and appreciate that they're there, because people really hate it when I say this, but there is no bad or good. It's all very subjective, right? The thing that's important is that we do our best. That's when we are subjectively good. We do our best. So that's what I'm leaving you with. It's a minute before 9 a.m. here. And again, anybody wants to get a hold of me, exactly, only the chicken wing body anti-gravity units. Yep. So I love you all. And take that big breath in. Illuminate yourself from the inside with that photonic light of Father Sky's prana connected to Mother Earth's chi. And with every step, You walk with intent. You have intent awareness. I am. Intent awareness. I am. Intent awareness. I am. And within that, we have our intent, not expectation, our intent, conscious awareness, and there's conscious intent. Yes, that's it. Conscious awareness and conscious intent. I am. Conscious intent. I am. Conscious intent. So you walk with intent. I'm I'm doing this, and I'm doing my best. I'm not perfect, but I have conscious intent to do my best. That's why you all are so exceptional, because you naturally do that. You don't even think about it. You naturally do that. So, we in the cadre, we folk who are, do our best, and realize we're not perfect. We just do our best, which is far superior to anybody else. So we don't have to have that egocentric feeling of entitlement, that we're exceptional. No, I never thought I was. I still don't think I'm exceptional. I just do my best. And so I can achieve good things because I do my best. Yes, 20% of the time I'm, a moron, but I'm aware of it. And being the fool is not a bad thing when you're aware of it. Right? When you let it get a hold of you, as the canary in the coal mine is, and people of that sort are aware, but they just can't help themselves. And a good portion of the time, they can be that better self, but they're not. The other side is always can be stronger, right? And that's only because you have thoughts that are wasteful, inappropriate, negative, anxious, egocentric, narcissistic. Those thoughts are relevant to good life. Good life is love's intent, right? Love's co-creation, right? And every day in every way. So I give that all to you. I tell you how much I love you. And our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. That was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be. And that's like the Big Bang. It's all here. This moment is the moment you got, right? Do your best, right? Don't settle. Don't slide. So anyway, I'm gonna say I'll talk to you later, and I'm gonna go do my tai chi, and I'm gonna go take a shower, and maybe make breakfast, and get my things done. Okay, pack the car, blah 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 blah, and I'll get back to you. This afternoon, this evening.